Yeah.
Lauren, I guess they got a couple people to be good guests, and they said, how long can they do it? And I said, they have to be down.
They have that my daughter,
If anything goes beyond.
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
way back when.
And I met her face to face after
I
I told Carolyn about it, because Carolyn goes to the church where my work works in the office part-time. And so I brought her lunch one day, and I was walking out, and Jody walked in, I walked right past her, and nobody recognized nobody.
All right, let's call the meeting to order and rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, John, roll call.
Dan. Here. Nicole.
Here.
Dave. Here. Carolyn.
Here.
Deb.
Here. Hello, does anybody have any comments?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Today is 9/11.
Yeah.
22 years ago, first responders came to the aid of those in Washington, D.C. and New York and Pennsylvania. I think we need to support our first responders and our fire department. And unfortunately, even in this room, there are people who did not support our fire department and our first responders. I'm disappointed at that, and that's my public comment.
Dorothy?
I pay taxes. I support the fire department. I support the first responders.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just want to ask to move something here.
What's that?
I'd like to move the fire department report to the top if we could, so
Okay.
I can.
You need a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion to move the fire department report manually up to the top of the reports.
I'll second that.
Top of the reports, or do you want to?
Well, wherever, you know.
So now? Okay.
First.
And we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Larry, go ahead.
Since our last meeting, we had 4 EMS calls, no fires, and 1 motor vehicle accident. We haven't added any new members. Tanker 2 is at SNR for repairs right now. Ladder 1 is out at Red Diesel Power getting fixed. And while it's down there, they did the pump test, which it failed. We need to have some valves replaced. As soon as I get that estimate for those, I will call you, Deb.
Okay.
And we might have to do a special meeting to get that approved so we can get those valves replaced.
Okay.
Training this month is driver's training, so you're going to see cones all over the place and all of our equipment running. We're also going to host test. EMS training is to be determined. Community education, like Dave said, it's 9/11 Remembrance Day. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, so check out our Facebook page. Fall Fest, we had a great turnout for the day. We had 33 vehicles for the car show this year, so that was a good improvement. And the department would like to thank Bruce, Ben, and Lucy Hafer for letting us use their hayfield for our fireworks, which turned out amazing. Any questions?
That was bad.
Good.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
This band, they do something a little different. They don't take breaks at all. They started playing at 7:30 and they played straight through till midnight. The only 2 breaks they took was for the fireworks and the raffle ticket drawing. Otherwise, they played straight through. They held the crowd the whole night. We were kicking people out at quarter after 12 because they didn't want to go.
That's a good thing.
So it was really good.
They play old country, so is this a good
Yep.
band, I thought?
Yeah, they were very good. Anything else you need to?
Let me know on that deal and we'll go from there.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Approval of town board minutes for August 14th, 2023.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
A second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Town board minutes for August 30th. Need a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
And second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Plan Commission, Dorothy?
We gave our minutes last month. We had our meeting right before yours.
Yeah. And nothing since.
Nothing until we have our next meeting.
Okay. Highway Department and newsletter, the crack filling is done. Chip sealing on Marsh and McKenna is done. John and I applied for a grant for engineering fees. I haven't heard anything back on it, but that was what, a week and a half ago. It's met with the engineer. He's getting me prices for culverts, or estimates, I should say, though, so that we can do for a culvert cost share that's gonna be in by October 1st. And he's getting me estimates for Drake and Stott, so we can apply for those grants. Did you hear anything on Galvin at all? Did you check into that one? What would you like to do with that? Galvin. There's been absolutely nothing that has come back for the grant that they applied for at all.
When did we apply for it?
What was it, March?
March, I think.
And nothing has come back by now? Is there any hopes there will come, some will?
I would guess no,
I didn't get
because
my-
he didn't get any emails or nothing on
Nothing.
that. So what's gonna be the priority for the road? I mean, you got Stott, we're looking at for a grant, Drake, but Galvin is the one we had already applied for, so.
Can we reach out to see if there's, if they'll,
Can we what?
can we reach out to
Well,
find
he
out?
was going to, and I don't think he's heard anything at this point.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I mean, I can, my emails to DOT don't seem like it's go nowhere, so I can,
Try
look it up
again.
and
All right.
And there was
Otherwise-
no, excuse me, go
Yep.
ahead.
I was gonna say, otherwise the option is, do we wanna swap the order of what we
Exactly.
wanna do?
That's what I'm wondering. What's gonna be the priority?
Did we get any feedback from the crack fillers about one worse than the other, or?
No, they haven't said anything.
Haven't
They're
said
like,
anything.
no. They just went and filled the cracks to the tune of 40 grand. They did a good job. I think nothing was overfilled or,
Right.
you know, we didn't have bumps all over the place, so.
So what would we be doing on Drake?
Blacktopping.
That thing,
That road is supposed to be ready to blacktop, am I correct?
well, that was several years ago, and I wonder
Need
if
some
it's still,
material, man.
I'm sure it'll need more material.
Because I know the engineer is gonna look at that and look at Stott and see what they need. But I didn't say anything about Galvin because we already applied for a grant there. But I think Galvin would be the priority over either one of those, actually. So. But see what you can find out, John, if there's anything,
Okay.
so. Otherwise,
Is Drake cleaned up? I mean, because it was pretty bad. Has that been cleaned up a little bit?
Drake,
Yeah. Well, of course, it hasn't rained and.
we had that prepped to,
be blacktop.
be
that was
blacktop,
5, 6
how many years ago? 10,
6 years.
7, 8, something
There was a
like
while
that,
back.
and it never got done. So, I mean, that was in the original capital improvement plan.
Yeah. Well, I just know
And
that.
so, I don't think anything has been done since.
The other thing that it feeds into that little bit, within 2 years, there's gonna be a $5 or $6 million building put up for administrative offices at the research farm.
Mhm.
And I was up there and talked to the manager, and I filed those papers with,
Megan?
yeah. And, I said, well, you know, if we're gonna upgrade, maybe there's some money in there for that portion of the road that goes to their place
Yeah.
too.
And she hasn't got back to you yet.
No, well, she won't know, that's gotta go through state,
Yeah.
bid process and all that sort of stuff, but I did plant the seed.
Wasn't there some agricultural road?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's a couple, the two that we're gonna be applying for are considered rural, aren't they, John?
Yeah.
It's no different than what we did in Mullen, how many years ago.
Yeah, on that order. Dorothy?
Okay, you're talking from C to 97 for Drake, not from from
It'd
C
be-
north. Just the south
What would that
section.
be, 2 miles?
Yeah, that's 2 miles
It's
south.
2 miles.
Because I know the culverts did go out of that one time and they had to redo them,
Yeah.
since it was prepped.
Mhm.
Yeah, the big double ones down on the south end were
Yep.
replaced, but
That
I
was,
wouldn't have to know what date that was, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
probably
only-
5 to 6, 7 years ago.
yeah, it wasn't that long ago for getting those replaced. Scott, what needs to be done on that? Does that need to be reconstructed, or does it just need a top? Because it doesn't seem to be broken down anywhere.
I don't,
I would think of, we'll see what the engineer says.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna look at it, but
Grind it, compact it, put a cap on it.
that's kind of my thought on that one. Because that road doesn't seem like it's been hit. The top of it is crap, but the rest of it seems to be pretty stable, so, my thought anyway.
Well, there's a couple of places where the right-hand wheel ruts are out of it, but
Mhm.
I think.
But that would be fixed, if, you know, as you're going through.
Well, you regrind it and that
Yeah.
bubbles it up and you recompact it.
Well, we'll see what the engineer comes up with and go from there. That's all I got.
okay, buildings and grounds.
No, it's not.
Library.
Library, Dan.
Okay, so John has, as the website bureau, has updated the frequently asked questions, posted a new newsletter, and we're getting roughly 10 website visits a day. So, I mean, people are using the website, you know, for a township website to get 10 visits a day is not, people are looking at it. For the library, I don't have any other news other than the joint library agreement ends at the end of this year, and I have a draft that I will be working with Jill on and submitting it by 10/1 to the town council. I had sent you and John an earlier version. And I'll just clean that up a little bit to make it easier to understand.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Buildings and grounds, Carolyn?
There's just, not much going on right now. The mowing and the trimming and what have you is way down because of the, rain. And,
What are you
however,
talking about? It rained today. But, I said, what are you talking about? It rained today.
It missed it.
yeah, 2 sprinkles.
Uh,
And John and his family rented the pavilion, and I obviously have to call the air conditioner company. There's something not right there. We can't get it to cool down. So we're gonna be contacting them. And other than that, that's about it for now.
Dave?
Anybody out here have any garbage or recycling problems?
Recently?
Yeah.
Just the
But
ones
since
that
last
call.
month, because I've had a raft of problems.
What about the dumpster out here? That never has been, they
They were-
never did come and empty it.
They were called when they got stuff for Fall Fest, and I told them to pick it up and dump it. And it isn't getting done.
But they can raise the rates.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
Can't even
Well,
eliminate one.
The board is meeting with them this month, the manager. There's a new manager and a new route person. The regular driver that we had missed Old Plain 2 weeks in a row. And you talk about mad people with garbage
I know, I got it too.
in a canister, in a cart, for 2 weeks of the 100-degree weather. They wanted to know if they should throw it in the ditch, and I said, please don't.
That's what I said too. Because they told me they were gonna throw it in the ditch because they were sick of it
Yep,
sitting
I was on the phone, I think I can trace my phone calls at least 6 times with them. Still hasn't been picked up. I said, if it isn't picked up by this time, let me know. I called them back. They don't want their personal numbers, so I have the personal route guy and the manager's number. Officially, the official number for the dumpster, customer service, if you have a pen, put it down,
Thank you, I'm gonna do that, okay. I'm trying to stuff from our pavilion and, you know, when we clean
I
up.
understand, but if we're not getting good cooperation, somebody's gonna get an earful this next,
Yeah,
by the end of the month. 888 960 0008. You go through a gal. First off, they wanted to know where, when I did get somebody to talk to, you get a recording, you get a recording, you get a recording. There was a Bree, her name was Bree, B-R-I-E, answered in Germantown. She says, I take all the calls. I said, well, we have route man missed 2 weeks in a row, and what are their addresses? Well, I didn't have the addresses, and I told them who we were a member of. She knew that. She did the Google map, and then she couldn't figure it out. I said it's between between Stad and Drake on Eau Plaine, and they're on the south side. Those are our taxpayers on the south side. That's township road. To the north is Eau Plaine. Township residents to the north is Eau Plaine. Finally, it got picked up. And at the same point in time that I did get a hold of the manager and the route man, I said, here's what we need for Fall Festival. They did deliver those, correct? I'm looking around.
yeah,
And they were over here.
yeah.
And I said at the same time to pick up the dumpster behind the town garage. Well, it didn't happen. So,
Is there a mattress in there? Did you find that mattress at the end of Marsh Road?
no, but I did get the call that was 2 bags of garbage at the end of Marsh Road. I went down there on a Sunday and they weren't there, so I don't know who picked them up.
Well, they said, after that it was 2 bags of garbage and a mattress. So somebody dump it in this dumpster maybe? Somebody pick it up?
I haven't seen a mattress.
Look.
I haven't seen a mattress, but there's amazing what is there.
When is the meeting?
I believe it's the 20, well, I didn't get an email, it's usually the 27th, I believe,
Cameron?
yes. So other than that, call that number, and they said that's the customer service number. I wanted to talk to somebody right down to town Marshfield here, and they won't talk, but the gal down there, we've already known that she has an attitude problem with the public calling down there, so.
Hey, did that one woman ever get her refund?
I checked on that too. That was the one at the end of Jody Gross.
Mm-hmm.
I asked about that. He was gonna check into it, but I haven't heard a thing.
Okay.
She was charged $37 for recycle.
Yeah.
Gus?
If you're meeting with them regarding customer service, I wanted to see about renting a dumpster with cleaning up with their move and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I look on my thing, one dumpster says Veolia, the other one says Advanced. I thought, to heck with this, I'm just gonna drive down to Hume and talk to a person.
Yep.
I walked in and the gal sat behind the counter. I said, I'd like some information about renting a dumpster. She said, call the number on that card.
Oh, see, that's the one.
And then she did say, many people have had better success going online. Well, I tried the phone thing, and you're on hold, being told how important your call is. I get chucked along the line, and I talked to a guy. He said, well, I'm just in charge of the garbage routes or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I was transferred back, put on hold again, and I finally said,
enough is enough.
yeah.
I stuck 45 minutes is what I stuck on the line before somebody got transferred. 45 minutes.
You put your call on speaker and you can actually have dinner.
That's what I did. I did. It was on speaker.
In the
I did
online
something
thing,
else.
for someone like me, I hate that kind of thing, and my wife went online, and the best we could figure out that renting a dumpster for, I forget what, a short period of time was like $1,000. Yeah, I did not want to spend $1,000 to rent the dumpster to clean up,
Right.
so I guess I'll just
Dorothy, who was
have to,
that company that had
Ideal
it?
Lease,
Get that out.
Pardon me?
Ideal Lease,
I still didn't.
Ideal Lease out of Stratford.
They have
Cost you $300 for the big dumpsters. Yep,
Ideal, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the other alternative I was gonna suggest, so.
they're good.
Anybody
Other
else?
than that, I don't have, thank you.
Hey, are you guys keeping track of all of these complaints that are coming from the citizen?
Oh, yeah.
So-
I have it in my little book.
So, obviously these rates are going up. We have a contract with this company, and
Yep.
it sounds like they're not meeting, I don't know what the contract is, but it sounds like they're not meeting expectations of the contract, so it sounds like a breach of the contract to me. If we're looking for a way to get out of it, I think that information would be a good way to get our attorneys involved in that.
I called the secretary for the Northwest Recycling, which is Deb Ostrake, and she said, we're not the only one, but she said, usually they don't call me, they wait till the meeting to call. But I called Deb Ostrake, and she said too, this is not gonna go well the next time around when we meet with, I think there's Chad is out of Weston, and Kurt, I think there's a Kurt, he's the route guy,
Okay.
so.
All right, policies and procedures.
Before we get to that, do we want to put the phone number on the website then too, so that people can,
For garbage,
yeah,
there you go.
reference that?
Yeah, put that right out there.
Yeah. So, policies and procedures, I've been working on updating those. Other than that, I don't have much other than, updates. I did get 3 calls. One call was about, do we have any ordinances about junk in your yard? Like if there's 5 vehicles, garbage all over, etc. It wasn't in the township of McMillan. A neighboring township was working on writing their own ordinance and wondering if we had one. We don't. So that was interesting. I also got a call asking if there was a bake sale for the Fall Fest. I get called for that every year, and I always give them Lori's number, so I don't know if that's right or
Ask about what?
Bake sale.
at the bake sale at the Fall Fest. Nobody ever calls her, so then she calls me, and I'm like, I don't run the Fall Fest, so I don't know.
Yeah, Bernice and I called about everybody that's ever baked.
Oh, well, she
Yeah.
said she brought cookies, so I don't know. And then I also got a call about a dog that was found, and I gave them Gus's number. So I think I saw the photo of the dog online, so thanks to Gus for taking
that
it.
Yeah, we saw him in our yard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was in our yard.
The one on Kenny?
Yeah,
No, this
yeah,
was.
because I live right off of, I mean,
There
basically.
was one lady that had called, and she had just, what do they call it?
Adopted.
Yeah, she had just adopted that dog, and the next day it was gone. So I don't know.
Did
if
they
she-
ever find it?
I don't know.
Haven't heard anything.
It was running like a bat out of hell, went all the way down 3 sides of our lot. I mean, and just, I was calling to it, and it was on, I mean, it came from one way, went all the way down, and then turned back down, came back the other way, down our road to, back to Penny Lane, and it was not listening, you know, it was like when I was a kid, it reminded me of my dog that ran away and never came back. I mean, he was just on a beeline, he was out of here.
Did you beat it?
What?
Did you beat it or what?
No, no, it was, when I was a kid, I got like it was, we're not gonna get into my inner psychosis tonight.
There's a reason. Come on, Dan. All right, let's see. Ordinances, same thing, Nicole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's get into clerk's report, John.
Yeah, I received 1 open records request and also completed 1 open records request. I received a notification that our DS 200 and our Express Vote, both of those are election machines, need to go to Marathon County for software upgrades and preventative maintenance on October 13th. And you already mentioned this, the culvert aid petition is due October 1st for the 2024 culverts.
Did you happen to find the form for that or no?
I can check the email, because I just looked at the email today. I saw that there was some attachments to it,
Okay.
so.
Because I need the form to fill
Okay.
that out. You know, what do they call it? A petition for culvert aid, I think is what they call it.
Okay. We received 2 zoning permits, one on Birch Tree Road and one on Swallowtail Lane. And that is about it.
Checks to approve. I have a question. You have one on here, it's 230803 for QuickBooks. Is that for a software version update?
Yeah, so QuickBooks has a payroll subscription and an annual subscription for the software, and this one was for the software.
Okay, what year are we using now?
2023.
Okay. That's not this one, am I correct, that you're ordering?
That is this one. I logged on, let's see, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it said your subscription is expired, you can't use stuff. You can view it, but you can't do anything. You can't write checks, you can't write payroll.
For a desktop version?
Yeah.
Now, I use desktop all the time, it's good for 3 years. And mine is cheaper than yours. And I do 43 accounts off of mine. So
I
something's
think
not.
they were using different versions. You're using the accountant version, and I'm using the.
But that should still be good for more than a year, it always has been.
No, I mean, that's not how it is. You can go on the QuickBooks subreddit and see a mile of complaints for people that are saying, oh, this is BS that I have to renew every year.
Yeah,
Because
I
previously you used to be able to just buy a version and use it
forever.
until you wanted to upgrade.
Yeah,
Just like, same thing with Word and Office and all that stuff, but now none of these software people are doing that. They're all doing the software as a service, so it's.
Right, yeah, you can no longer buy a license in perpetuity.
No, it's, you get a year version
I
and
do.
that's it.
You must be grandmothered in.
Grandmother? There you go. Well, every 3 years, I update mine because there's really no difference from 1 year to the next when it comes down to the software itself. And for township, you sure as hell wouldn't need anything more than what we already have.
And I certainly wouldn't have bought it if they didn't, I was unable to I couldn't have written checks.
Is that right?
I would not have been able to write payroll.
Boy, they really soaked you.
I do know that they do have, so we had,
Do you have
the
a Pro, Premier? What do you got?
Premier, I think, Pro, something like that. But there was, so there's QuickBooks Accountant,
That's
which
what
I think
have.
what you have,
Yeah.
and then QuickBooks Premier or Pro or whatever. So like, they're 2 different
Right.
things. So that's why yours has a different pricing structure, I guess. Maybe I imagine that they figure that they can take small businesses to the cleaners
Obviously.
because they don't know anything about, stuff. They're
Yeah.
just like, look, I just need to keep my business running and stuff, so let's just keep going.
That must be new though, because I know it's always been that you could do your payroll and everything on it for 3 years before you had to update.
Yeah, so it looks like it changed.
Probably this
early-
year.
Early 2020s, so like, because people were still saying that they were on like 2018 or something,
Mhm.
and they're like, I'm just gonna coast on that. But they couldn't get the payroll subscription, so they had to farm out their payroll.
Right.
Because otherwise, if they wanted to do the QuickBooks payroll, then they'd have to pay the
Okay, what do you
subscription.
pay for each check when you do
Um,
payroll? Because I know you have to pay for each check that you write out. Because I know they wanted to up that, and I called and complained. 'Cause
No,
do
I don't
a
think
lot
I-
of
I
payroll
mean-
checks.
Payroll checks.
Yeah,
Mm,
because they were gonna up that to like $20 a month per person. And I called them and complained and told them that they can shove it. And she says, well, why? I said, I'll do it by hand.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there talking, how many people?
I don't know that I know off the top of my head how much it costs per.
Okay, kind of keep an eye on that one.
Okay.
That was the only question I had.
What's the card number services? 19639.
So that's the, like what comprises of that invoice?
Yeah.
$153 for O'Reilly Auto Parts, $153.01, $45.59 to Amazon. That one's for toners for the fire department. $6 to Microsoft for email, and $153.37 to Staples for trash bags at the pavilion.
Anybody else?
Yes. There was a late bill submitted for the axe throwing guy at the youth center.
Yeah, I did.
And his bill is $1,000, but that check was not submitted. Well, they brought it up on Saturday night, because he came in to get paid, and there was no check written, it hadn't gone through yet. So we need a check for that as well.
We'll need his.
It's
You're
called-
gonna be sending the 1099, aren't you?
He,
Yeah, I mean,
Anything over
if
600.
it's required to send them a 1099, I will.
yep, I think he filled one out.
W9? It's always gotta
Yeah,
fill
I think
out.
I gave him, or with some other stuff, we probably noticed it, but there is it in the pack there.
Okay. So we need to add a check on here, is what you're saying?
Yes, for $1,000, and it goes to the Gray, EY, dog.
Dog?
Yeah, the Gray Dog,
DAWG,
D-O-G.
DOG.
$1,000?
Yes. He's from Medford,
I'm guessing his insurance is high.
I'm sure it is.
I think they're moving to Marshfield though.
Are they?
Yeah, this is supposed to be somebody coming to Marshfield to do that.
Is that EY or AY?
EY.
EY.
Well, because everybody has different ways of spelling it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything else?
John, 19645, the for the library, I thought we paid that in 2 installments.
I thought we did too, now that you mention it.
Let me look up last year's. I don't think, last year we didn't, I don't think. I feel like it was 87,000 last year, around.
Yeah, I mean, that number seems right for that.
That's the
annual.
right number.
But I always thought we paid once, and then the second half of the year was adjusted. That was always my understanding.
So I think that maybe but maybe it's from a change in directors, because I know Jill's fairly recent.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just skipping that first prepayment
Okay.
and then just sending
No,
out.
we didn't send anything other than this to the library so far.
No, I double
Okay.
checked to make sure.
So this is the total.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So I'll follow up with that.
I mean, it really don't matter.
That's the.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You should see that on your budget.
Yeah, I looked at the budget when I seen that, because I thought we paid that in 2 payments too, but we don't have to, we can just draw interest on that money a little bit longer.
Last year we paid in July 1 bill. 2021 we paid at this meeting, the September meeting, just 1 bill.
Okay.
So it looks like actually we've only been paying 1 bill for, since 2020, but that might have been due to maybe that was because of the refund or whatever, so.
Yeah.
And that always varies with the amount of stuff that's checked out or used. right?
Usage.
Yeah. Yeah, so our proportion of the total usage, and then, so they take a full budget, $1.5 million or something, and then our proportion of the total usage, then they put that against the 1.5. So really, like when their budget goes up, then our costs go up for that.
Doesn't that have something to do also with how much Marathon counties would be?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
so we pay, the way the agreement is right now, is we pay the higher
Of the two.
of the two between Marshfield and Marathon County. My understanding is that Marathon County has never, since day one, ever gave us the information for what it would be.
That's not true.
That's not true, that's where we always got it from before.
That's where we've gotten it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always
Okay,
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
the information that I have,
I've not seen it, so.
yeah. It's news
I
to
think
me.
you just have to call Marathon County.
You just have to call
Yeah,
them
they
and
don't,
ask them.
it was hard to get that information when I was on the library board,
Mhm.
but we got it.
Yeah, but that's.
Well, we're
not
paying the
that-
higher of the two, so.
But
We
you
can
still
only
have to
lose
base
if
it
we
off
have
of
to.
that one. That's where it's based off of our number to
Right.
begin with. You remember that, Donna, how that all
It's
goes.
based on a use piece, piece by piece.
Yeah, they take
Yep.
the
It's
the
not.
population of the county versus what every taxpayer pays, and then takes the township, and if you were used to that same rate, what would you pay?
Yep.
And then the same thing for the Marshfield side.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Then I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the checks 19622 through 19660, and then the transfers 230801 through 230810, plus Gray Dog
For 1,000,
for 1,000.
and that would meet the next check number, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be
So it'll be
19,661.
19661.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Budget to actual, you've got that in your packet. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, Donna, thanks for
Oh, you
reconciliation.
have those in front of you. I did bill the city for the quick trips. The quick trip, when the city annexed that piece for quick trip, there was two parcels, one real tiny one and another one. The bill on that was $910, and I went ahead and billed the city. That's for 5 years, so that is complete. And it took us a while, we did a background check and got a bunch of paperwork and compared the ones other ones that we knew that had gone in, if they had been billed, and they had been. So I think we're current on that. Then those would have been like Peggy McHugh, there was 82 acres there, she was right on Highway 97. And then there was 89 acres across the street, which was part of that. I'm not sure what it was attached to, but there was that one there, and I think that's the only other one that has happened in the last few years. So we're current as far as that goes. I know you guys are working on getting together again for the joint, but
I keep calling, but the new guy doesn't, there's a new kid on the block, and
yep,
he's,
Didn't you say there was a woman running that now?
there's a woman in there.
What's her name?
Oh, gosh, I don't have that paperwork with me.
so where'd the other guy go?
Well, Josh Miller left.
Josh
Yeah,
Miller
but
left.
there's been one or two people.
Well, yeah, but they've all left.
Yes, and then there was a younger guy that left, and now there's a
So
woman
they
in there.
did bring Josh Miller back for
Because
consult to get this stuff, trying to get this stuff cleaned up.
I have it written down if you want it from me. I have it written on my paperwork.
Yeah, let me know.
And for those that don't know, anything that gets annexed into the city of Marshfield, we have an agreement with them that we get payment in lieu of taxes.
For 5 years.
For 5 years.
5 years.
And that's in the no contest areas.
Correct. So that part where the new quick trip, that was.
And we only get back the taxes that pertain to the town. So otherwise, we'd be trying to figure out for the schools and all this stuff, and we don't do that. That's right in the contract. It's just our portion.
And if we didn't have that contract, we'd get nothing.
Correct.
So, otherwise it doesn't do much of anything.
That renewal's coming up.
End of the year. Or no, it's actually expired. It expired in May, right?
It's in
Maybe
2023.
that's why they're skidding,
Could be.
digging their heels.
Yeah, could be. I think that expired in May.
No questions on the reconciliation?
No,
Okay, and then the transfer, John, well, looks like we almost need 100,000, because this is,
Yeah.
we're getting money the 1st of October, which is the last payment for transportation aids and stuff, but we need it for this check. So I would suggest, if you're okay with that, I was
Yeah.
thinking 100,000, because this, we only have 129 in there, and then this one is almost, in
Last time you had 70, I believe, wasn't it?
yeah,
That was
72
okay.
or something
Yeah.
like that. So, yeah, we need to transfer out of the tax account. There's 600, over 600,000 in there, so. It's coming that time where, you know, we're gonna have to start getting that out, getting that paid, getting this stuff paid. It's
well,
coming.
isn't the 308,000 have to come off that 600,000 also?
The 300, for what?
Or that's marked for man, and then also the 12,000 grant for Lucas? Those have to come out of that 600,000?
Well, those monies were, yeah, I think we added those in there, or were they? Yes.
Okay.
So,
So if
it's
you
coming
take them
down.
off of there, you take 320,000 off of
And
there,
another-
you're down to 327.
And we need 100 for this time. But we're getting close, there's not a lot in October, I don't believe. We get money in October,
Mhm.
then the transfers all have to happen by December for parks and whatnot all. And fire department's transfer will be coming in. So, yeah, it'll be fine, it'll be fine.
I'll make a motion to transfer $100,000 from the 6055 tax savings account to the 6006 general checking account.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then just as a reminder, that tax account is money marketed, so it's getting a nice rate. And the fire departments, I'm going to, when I finish putting them in, I was told that anything over 50,000 that you have, I asked Lori if she was going to be spending anything out of that account in this coming calendar year, because they used to do a vote for a portion, I think, up to 25% out of that Fall Fest account if they want to buy something or pay something, that's what they're making that for, but there's nothing really that they've said in there yet. So if I go to the bank and it's over 50,000, which it will be, if we
already
leave
is.
that in there for a calendar 12 months, then they can get that nice rate. Right now, they're getting 2%. They'll get 3%. So they can make some money on that account, but it has to stay in there, and she's telling me that they will
It has to be over 50.
50 and maintain for 12 months. That may have changed, but that's the way it was when
Okay, so say they need to use it for something, is there a penalty if they have to use it, or do they just lose the interest?
They lose the interest, which
Okay.
we will avoid. And
Kind of
hopefully we
like a
can put it
CD.
in the payment into the next year or something, but she's gonna ask at their meeting, and I don't believe there's anything they're setting up for. So just so you know, we're watching that.
Okay, any other questions for Don? All right, then we need to, let's see, where are we? Schedule budget workshops. I had already asked John if he will get us 3 years of budgets versus actual, so we can look and see what we've done. And once we get that, then what dates are good for you guys?
What are you thinking?
Well, Dan, your number, you got one. Dave, your numbers are pretty much, you got one. And Carolyn, you need to work on yours. Nicole, you don't have a heck of a lot, and the fire department and highway. So, pick a date.
I'm busy till after the 28th.
What?
I'm gonna be out of town. 21st to the 28th or 29th.
Of this month?
Yeah.
Well, 28th is on a Thursday, is that when, your garbage meeting is? I bet it is.
Possibility, they haven't said it yet.
Okay.
When I talked to Deb Ostrach, she says, I'll take that into consideration. If Al Bry agrees to it later, that would work, otherwise Carolyn could go.
All right, so you want to go into October for meeting. John, how long is it gonna take you to get your paperwork done so that you can have everything ready?
The 3 years of financials?
No, that you should be able to just print off.
Yeah.
No, your stuff ready for to turn in.
Our meetings.
In our board, budget hearing.
Do you wanna meet before the next board meeting, or?
Or do you wanna do it after that?
Right.
I don't understand the
You
question.
you have to get the budget together for the budget hearing. Okay, how long is it gonna take after we get numbers set?
Oh, shouldn't be very long. I mean, what is it, like 2 weeks posting?
Yeah, you gotta have 2 weeks for sure.
Posting. So 3 weeks.
And we will be having our budget hearing probably the 13th of November. It's usually the meeting before.
Kinda late, isn't
So-
it? Our first one?
That's the
Or
second
first
Monday, second Monday of the month, right? That's 13th
That's the
of November.
13th.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that we have to get that over to the county. It's usually just before, they prefer just before Thanksgiving. So
Uh-huh.
that week, they have to have our approved budget so that they can start doing their stuff.
So
And
do you
we
want
can
to do
start
it
happening.
before October's meeting? October's meeting is the 9th.
Yeah, I'm available the 4th and the 5th.
The 4th I can do.
Sounds good.
What time?
6?
All right. Budget workshop, 6 o'clock, Wednesday the 4th of October, correct?
Mhm.
And we need to schedule more, we'll look at it then. So,
That would be-
John, if you want to let Lori know,
Okay.
so that she can start working on hers.
Do you need to make a motion for that or anything?
No, no.
Okay.
And then the MAPS contract, Mr. Wenzel had an issue, and maybe you want to explain that to everybody?
Well, I had thought of it in the past, but stray dogs aren't really a major issue. Usually when I have a stray dog, I'm able to locate the owner within a couple of days. I think since my tenure, I've only had one other dog I had to take to Wausau, and I actually knew where the owner was, but he wasn't responding. He was in the upper peninsula. And I had kind of requested through the sheriff's department to pursue abandonment charges, but they had bigger fish to fry, and the town was left with a significant bill. The last one that I had here was about 3 weeks ago. A gal called me regarding a stray dog, and things were a little suspicious, but arrangements were made to go and pick the dog up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. When I got there, she had it in a metal kennel cage. As soon as I got out of the truck and started approaching it, it was barking and growling and biting at the kennel, and I'm thinking, this isn't gonna be a good deal. I contacted Marshville Ordinance to see if they could give me a hand, and I was hoping that with their assistance I could take it to MAPS, because I could have got it to my place with maybe 2 or 3 bites, and I didn't want to pursue that route. We had to cover the kennel, and I happened to have a couple of boards in the back of my truck, and we had to make like a...
Hit him on the head 3 times.
we had to make a cot, so to speak, to lift it into the back of the truck. And Ordinance wasn't able to help me. MAPS wasn't able to help me because we didn't have a contract. So the only resolution I had was to haul it to Wausau. And it was on a hot day, so I had to make arrangements to have the window in the back of my topper open so I didn't fry the dog on the way. We got it to Wausau. The 2 gals there, again, we had to use the sticks to carry the kennel out and get it into the Humane Society. So I thought, just for consideration for the board, we have a contract with MAPS for the cats, which is $50. The canines would be $90 for the dogs. As just a matter of convenience, I picked the dog up at 1 o'clock, and by the time I met with the ordinance officers and ended up having to go to Wausau, I got back home at 4:30. And so there was my call charge and then the mileage, which comes up over $90. Again, whatever the board would decide, I'm okay with, but I thought it was something that should probably be considered. We do have a contract regarding the cats. From my place to MAPS and back is 18 miles versus my place to Wausau, that came up over 80. And then that day, I go up 97 to hit 29, and of course they're working on the eastbound lane. So I get diverted, headed towards Abbotsford, and fortunately that's in my hometown area, and I cut off on a side road. I later found out that the detour is Abbotsford. They run you all the way from 97 to Abbotsford to get you turned around and come back to the east. So I'm glad I didn't take that route.
But basically what you're looking for is any vicious dogs that you wouldn't be able to handle.
Well, I did have one other dog this spring that there was nothing wrong with the dog, but I couldn't locate an owner, and through a little footwork and legwork with the person that found it, I was able to find a home for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that would have been another case where if I wasn't able to find a place for the dog to go, I would have had to haul it to Wausau because we don't have a contract with MAPS.
But to have a contract with them, it doesn't cost us anything unless we have an animal, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so that seems like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And the length of the contract, in talking with Karen, is that it doesn't have to be renewed on an annual basis. It's in effect until one or the other parties decides to end it, and it's a 30-day notice.
Notice.
Well, I make a motion to accept the MAPS contract.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I did have one other question, though my insurance carrier, it had actually made a lot of sense. Am I covered? I know I was previously, but apparently the town switched insurance carriers. Am I noted in the event I go on a call and I get bit by a dog?
You didn't change.
I don't think so. I think we,
When would that be under workman's comp?
No, it would, he's elected.
official. So I'll check into that. Just to
I'm-
get some.
you should be
just
covered.
For clarity, and then I'll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really feel comfortable if I don't have a coverage.
Yeah. We are covered, as board members, you're an elected.
I know
official.
our agent, apparently, I think she's with Rural Insurance.
Uh-huh.
She used to have the policy for the town or whatever.
Right.
And she said that when she had the town, that she made sure that I was covered.
Mhm.
And she mentioned to me just recently with our insurance, she said, are you covered now with the new carrier?
Well, that was
You
years
should
ago.
ask that question.
Yeah, that was many, many years ago. I'm positive.
when we switched
Check
to
on it, John.
Marshfield then.
That was Jennifer Holland, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think you've been covered all along.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure.
hope
you
so.
have.
you would be under the liability end of it
You're
anyway.
darn lucky if you weren't.
Well, I don't want to get bit, and I
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
steps to avoid that at all costs, but it
Yeah.
can happen.
But anyway, anybody else have any questions? Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is over. Sir, you have one filled out?
Is he?
I don't know.
It makes it easier to lose than
Yeah.
having to.
Yeah.
there's some money, then he starts looking at outside.
I know that.
Because
I was sitting noticing
well, he was just looking up my pee.
period of time, that is close as I.
Totally what the, you
And
was
then I got it.
well, she doesn't live there all the time. Her dog must have been the one that instigated this whole fucking thing. He had it in the backyard.
Out there in the up in the
Back in the
yard.
field. And they threw all their dog over there in the field all the time. That dog back there went in, picked up,
No, I'm a
walked on the
taxpayer.
lawn, he's feet all over shit.
Chastise me.
You're going to get her signature on the
Oh my God, I